Very excited for this. Something new from the Rolling Stones. Well, this is pretty cool, brand new from the Rolling Stones, and it's called Angry from their new album Hackney Diamonds, which is coming out, I think, in October. Very exciting. It's very classic Rolling Stones, classic Keith Richards kind of riff with this move, which he always does. This one is no different. I've done it in standard tuning because very few things are in Keith Richards' weird tuning where he gets rid of the bottom string and kind of goes open. So this is an arrangement really of Angry for standard tuning, and I hope you enjoy. Let's start off with that main riff. We've got to riff hard if we're doing Rolling Stones. And this one is a little bit fiddly to play. You're going to put your first finger across that 4th fret there, and you're interested in these 3 strings. So you need the D, G and B string. And then your movement is going to be this sort of C shape, but just those 2 fingers. So the riff goes like this. It's quite fast, and you also need to stick on a hell of a lot of reverb on your guitar sound. Even though Keith Richards all the time says that he doesn't mess about with his sound, if you listen to the record you can hear all the reverb on it, so I would recommend putting some on there just to give it that kind of correct sound there. So this is what you want to get involved in then. 4th fret, alternate picking until those final 2 notes, the sort of flourish. So down, up, down, up, down, up, then down, down. Then that whole thing moves up to the 9th fret here, and you do the same again. And that comes around 4 times then, so then you pause for ages, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that comes around 4 times, like I said, and then there's a slight variation here on the 5th time. Same again to start with. Up to the 9. And then this is a little turnaround riff, which is really cool. So 7 to 9 hammer on. Then you use that first finger to play both 7th frets. And then you hit this diminished interval. And then you're going into the next section, which is a sort of verse, I will call it. Goes like this. And then you've got another little cool riff, but just to run you through that. So you're just doing A to E power chords here. So just use that first finger, I find it the easiest to do. And then this is quite actually a tough little turnaround. So you start off on that 7th fret with the first finger, slide up 9, 11 here, and then use your 2nd finger, little pull off there. Now there's a little moment here where technically if you're doing that little turnaround riff, you're going to play this note again at the same time as the next chord. All those notes are sounded at the same time, but obviously you can't do both. So what I'd recommend is instead of doing that, just going I'd recommend just skipping out the chord and playing that final note there, and then jumping down for the next chord. Underneath, the chord accompaniment goes like this. So just to run you through the slight change here, that's open strings, both of them. Up to that E there, and then you've got the turnaround and the main chorus, well, the main riff, I should call it, returns. So just as a recap, we were just playing through the riff again. And then the second time that comes round, it's a very, very different experience if you're going to play the lead soloing lines, which we're always interested in here. So the next bit is like this. So that's the first pattern there with this rhythm. That's really quick. So double those fourth frets. Once you've waited for Mick Jagger to say, "I'm not It's very timed with the vocals, so just listen out for that. And you've got this, so really quick and quiet. Pre-bend the 6 to the 8. And that's a kind of ghost, that's a kind of dead note there. When you're playing these bits, this up pick here, it sort of sounds like this 4th fret on the D string, but sort of half pressed. Just in case you're wondering, that's the note I would go for if you feel like you can get it in there. Then this 7th, jump up to the 3rd finger, obviously, and then slow bend on that 5th, and then you've got this. So that's how that little bit's done there. Listen carefully to the record and play along with it. You'll find that that's makes it a little bit easier. Then there's another bit of cool little soloing here on the 8th fret on the G and the 7th on the B. So it goes. So you're going to play, leave this B string ringing, jump down to the 4th. A lot of first finger movement there, but that's the only way you can really make that happen. Then the riff comes round again. Next time you hit the 9th fret though, just before it you have this. So it's a sort of early return to the riff with this shape. But you're playing the top 3 strings instead. Then the riff continues again, back to the 4. Another little turn round pattern here, which is like this. And then there's a pause, then it kind of is an offbeat, so it goes. So that's the rhythm. We're on to page 2 of the tab, by the way. We will pause in a sec because there's a lot to take in here. Once you've done this riff round on the 9th again, this happens again, and then we return. So those are the ways that you do that bit. So that repeats twice that second time that you do the pattern. Then you jump up here. This is a really difficult pattern. It took me ages to work it out. It goes like this, which is quite a weird riff really. And then you go back for the next chord. Make sure you hit that 7th fret properly over there. So one more time. Back to the main riff. And then you pause for a bit because we're about to hit the main solo section here, which is really weird but really cool. So it starts like this on the 10th fret here. And then you slide up. And then you've got this really slow, very, I mean, it couldn't be more Keith Richards really. On the 10th fret here it goes. You can have a little bend on that 7th actually. Very kind of Rolling Stones. And then this is super unusual. So the only way you can play this without Keith's tuning is to have the 7th fret held, bend the 9th with your 3rd finger, and then mute the string in between. So it's kind of like this. But you also need to hold that 7th all the time, so it's pretty tough. And keep holding that note. If you can get it to ring, that's very impressive. I mean, really, the only sort of proper way of doing it is to pick the note and also pick the top with this finger and hold this shape down and then kind of mute the middle string in between. So give that a go. Pretty tough. Then the next shape goes like this. Sliding up like that. Then the next bit, that's the next bit, quite easy actually. And then you slide down after that. You hear a very quiet bit like this. And then you hear this. And then we're back into the sort of main riff here. So there's two options here. So you get back into the main riff. And then you hear, I think Keith does this bit. And then you hear, I think Ronnie does this bit. They both kind of happen at the same time, so take your pick. I mean, I'd probably go with the Keith line. And then we're back into the main riff once again, so the solo is over. So there's a few twiddles here. So the riff comes again. And then you go up to the 9th, so it changes here. So you lose the second time it strums. And then you hear this little pattern. And then you hear this riff here. Up to the 9th. And then next one. And then over the top of that, you get more soloing. And this is where it gets super loose and improvisational, but I'll give you a flavour of it. So it goes like this. And then back again. Then you pause, and then another few little riffs coming up before we hit the outro fully here. And then you hear different variations as well, so you get and then you hear, and then again up to the 12th. And then again this nice little line. You can't quite hear the first note again this time. And then you hear, and then you're out of there. So that's just the 11th and 10th. I'm not entirely convinced that the second note is picked there, so I think you will just hear. And then you're out of there. The Rolling Stones and Angry, their brand new track. I hope you enjoyed that little jam really there. It was a lot of fun to play. Some kind of cool soloing and improvising in the outro. You can kind of do your own thing towards the end. But just hope that helps you to play it if you want to jam along to that. If you're liking the new stuff, I've done some other new ones recently, then hit that subscribe and you won't miss a single video. But in the meantime, stay chilled and we'll see you next time.